Okay. How you doing today?
Good.
Good. Okay, today we're going to talk about absolute value and opposites. Um, we have discussed this before. Absolute value is the distance of a number from zero, whether it's on the negative side or the positive side. Okay. So we have studied just the opposite of the last lesson we had. So I'm going to give you a marker. You're going to have about 2 minutes to do these 10 problems. I just want you to do the opposite. Okay. So the first one, what is the opposite of 45?
Negative 45.
Okay. And the negative of 22?
22.
Negative 22. Okay. Go ahead. You almost made a mistake on that one. Okay. How come it's not a negative zero?
Because 0, it's in between it and it doesn't have an opposite.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure. I'm just going to clear this up. Okay. It seems like you've done this before and you grasp that concept very well. Not many problems on that. So what I'm going to have you do right now is basically watch a video to basically describe what you have learned, which is the opposite of a number. So
Number line here. So let's draw a number line. Let's put some numbers on this number line. So we can start at 0. And if we go to the right, we have positive numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. As we go to the left, we get more and more negative.
Of course, if you have any questions, let me know. We'll stop and we'll go over
Negative
it.
2, negative 3, negative 4, and I could keep going on and on and on. So let's pick one of these numbers. Let's say that we pick the number 3. What is going to be the opposite of the number 3?
What do you think?
Negative
Well, the
3.
opposite of the number is a number that's the same distance from 0, but on the other side. So 3 is 3 to the right of 0. 1, 2, 3. So its opposite is going to be 3 to the left of 0. 1, 2, 3. So the opposite of 3 is negative 3. Let me make a little table here. So if we have the number, and then we have its opposite. We have its opposite. So we just figured out that if you have the number 3, its opposite is going to be negative 3.
Okay.
Now what if your number is negative? What if your number, let's say the number negative 4? What's the opposite of that? And I encourage you to pause the video and try to think about it on your own. Well, you say, okay, negative 4 is right over here. That's negative 4. It is 4 to the left of 0. 1, 2, 3, 4 to the left of 0. So its opposite is going to be 4 to the right of it. So 1, 2, 3, 4. It's going to be positive. It's going to be positive 4. And so you're probably starting to see a pattern here. The opposite of a number is going to be the opposite sign of that number. If you have a positive 3 here, its opposite is going to be negative 3. If you start with negative 4, its opposite is going to be positive 4. So one way to think about it, it's going to have the same absolute value, but have a different sign. Or another way to think about it is, however, if this is 3 to the right of 0, its opposite is going to be 3 to the left of 0. Or if the number is 4 to the left of 0, its opposite is going to be 4 to the right of 0. So let's do one last one. What is the opposite of, what's going to be the opposite of 1?
Negative 1.
Well, 1 is 1 to the right of 0, so its opposite is going to be 1 to the left of 0, or negative 1. Or another way to think about it, 1 is positive, so its opposite is we're going to change the sign. Instead of being positive, it's going to be negative. It's going to be negative 1. Either way that you can think about it.
Any questions on that one?
No?
Kind of easy on that one, right?
Yeah.
So we cover the bell ringer and then we cover the video, kind of explaining to you the information that we're going to cover. Okay? Any questions so far? Okay. So what we can do right now is go ahead and start doing the exercises on the computer. I gave you um, some example problems. There's going to be 4 levels. The first one, I will go over them with you. Okay. But it seems like you already had grasped the system, so
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you the question and you punch them in. So we're going to do it. There's 4 levels. We're going to do the first one. Basically, I'm going to tell you. The second level should be me and you. The third level should be me in the classroom. But since there's only 2 of us, we're just going to keep on practicing doing by ourselves. And then the fourth one will be basically you by yourself with no help from me at all. So the first question is, what is the opposite of negative 21?
21.
Go ahead and punch it in, and it'll tell you if it's the right answer. So what is the opposite of 49?
Negative 49.
Okay. What is the opposite of 39?
39.
Okay. What is the opposite of 41? There's 3 different options. Which one would that be?
Negative 41.
Okay. And what is the opposite of 23? Negative 23, I'm sorry. And what is the opposite of is that the absolute value of negative 24?
Yeah. Still 24.
Exactly. The absolute value of negative 37.
37.
Okay, and what is the absolute value of negative 1?
1.
Okay, so, we need what, 2 more? Okay. What is the absolute value of negative 21?
21.
Okay. What is the absolute value of negative 18?
18.
Okay. I see that you grasp this concept very, very easily, so I'm going to let you do the next 2 sections by yourself. And then while you do that, I'm going to create different problems that might trick you a little bit. It seems like you already grasped this concept very, very easily.
Yeah.
Which is nothing bad, but I just want to make sure that you learn different strategies that you're not exposed to. So go ahead and continue, because I think it'll tell you if you can go to the next level. It's the next level, right? Level 2? Level 2 out of 4? Okay, continue to do that. While I do that, you can say them out loud so I can know that you got them right.
Okay, so it says, what is the opposite of 22? It's negative 22. Got it correct. What is the opposite of negative 48? Which is 48. What is the opposite of 56? Negative 56. What is the opposite of 97? Negative 97. What is the absolute value of 9? Negative 9.
Absolute value is always going to be positive.
Oh.
So you got
Close enough.
Okay, you got 1 wrong. Okay, continue.
Right.
And that's a good thing, because you're assuming. Sometimes you gotta slow down a little bit, because you know the answers, but you're rushing and you made a mistake. But it's okay to make mistakes. You learn from it now. I gotta slow down, and then I gotta figure out what it is, because you already know the answer.
Okay. So what is the absolute value of negative 20? 20. What is the absolute value of negative 36? 36. What is the absolute value of 70? 70. What is the absolute value of 99? 99.
Hey, Danny. What? Are the boys
Do I continue?
too?
Okay, go ahead, continue. We'll do the level 3 now, since you made a mistake on it. But let's go ahead and continue that one.
I hadn't actually planned on inviting Ethan, and Derek can't come because his mom is stricter. Why did I talk to her? And I told her that the girls are coming. But that would be a different don't say that.
It's the opposite of 12. Okay, you do the opposite numbers now, right?
Leilani,
Okay.
a close friend of your son Derek, would like him to come over.
You can say the problem as you go.
What is the opposite of 466? Negative 466. What is the opposite of 101. Oh,
The opposite of 101. What is it?
negative 101.
Okay, I remember it's the opposite, not the absolute value.
Okay.
Go ahead.
What is the absolute value of 419? 419. The absolute value of 141 would be 141.
Correct, you got it.
Yeah. The absolute value of 138 is 138.
Okay, good job.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's take a minute and let's go ahead and watch this other video, and then I'm going to have you do some problems that might be a little bit challenging for you. But this one's a little bit more, it's a little bit funny as far as the video.
Absolute value, Alashma. A healthy sense of optimism can have a strong effect on one's psyche. No, psyche. For example, you might hear an optimistic person say, I just got a terrible haircut, but my new faux hawk will make me stand out from the crowd. Or, an earthquake just swallowed my home, but I get to be on the news. Or, an asteroid the size of the sun is hurtling toward Earth, and we have only a few minutes left to live. But at least we're all going together. See how much nicer things seem when we put a positive spin on them? Then you're just going to love absolute value. All this guy does is take negatives and turn them into positives. Of course, he also takes positives and keeps them positive. We're talking a lot of positivity. Absolute value determines how many spots away a number is from 0 on the number line. You could never be a negative number of spots away from 0, which is why absolute value is always so dang positive. You can tell you're dealing with an absolute value because you'll see a number surrounded by bars on either side. It looks almost like they're in prison, or as absolute value would say, on vacation. Take any number, put it through the absolute value machine, and you'll get its true colors. Say you want to find the absolute value of the number 7. First we put it in prison, so we know we're looking for the absolute value, and not just looking at a run-of-the-mill 7. Then we can count the spaces between 0 and 7, which, surprise, surprise, is 7. It will be the same story for every single positive number, which makes our job easier. However, it's a bit different when we have a negative number. Suppose we want to find the absolute value of negative 3. First we jail that sucker. Then we locate it on the number line. We count 3 spaces in between negative 3 and 0. So our absolute value is 3. But what if we have a number with more than one negative sign? Suppose it's been hoarding them since 1973 and has accumulated 300 of them. Doesn't matter. No matter how many times you reflect the number 3 across 0, it will always be exactly 3 spaces away from 0.
Any questions on that?
Therefore, its absolute value will always be 3. Being so positive all the time can definitely lift your mood and keep you from being down in the dumps. Absolute value is about as upbeat as they come, which can actually be really annoying at times. If you tell anyone else, we'll deny it, but boy, we hate that guy.
We're Rhett and Link, and we wanted to show you how we created our amazing...
Okay, any questions on this one?
No.
Okay, so what we're going to do now is, since you were mastering, you only, I think you missed 2 out of 20, so you made like about a 90%. So I'm going to give you a little bit of a challenge. So what I did is created 5 additional problems. The only difference is I added a negative in the outside of the absolute value. Okay, and this is one thing that I've seen a lot of your classmates has problems with those. So go ahead and grab the marker, and what will you think is negative of the absolute value of negative 14?
Well, since there's a negative right outside of it, it would still be negative 14.
Negative 14, correct. And why is that?
Because since the negative sign is outside of the absolute value lines, it isn't counted inside of it. So since the absolute value is 14, you just put the negative in front of it. Okay.
Since the absolute value of negative 14, not the absolute value of 14, which is the same number, but it's not what it is. Okay, so what if you don't have a negative in front, like number 2? What is the negative of absolute value of 4?
That would still be -4.
Okay, go ahead and continue. Good job. So you don't do this ones like math, or when you multiply.
Right.
It's like when you have two negatives, you make a positive. You know which I'm talking about, right? When you multiply. Okay, good job. I thought you were going to get confused by this one, but you did not. You did actually pretty good. So, good job on that. Okay, so we've done the up to exercise 3, right? The next one will be exercise level 4, which will be your independent practice that you will do by yourself.
Okay.
The last thing I have is just one more video, and it's kind of short-lived. So, if you have any questions, please let me know, and I'll stop it. Okay?
Absolute value. The absolute value of a number is its distance from another number on a number line. Distance is a measurement that tells you how far you've gone from one point to another. The notation for absolute value is two straight lines, like this. The absolute value of 4 is 4, because 4 is 4 places from 0 on the number line. -4 is also 4 places from 0 on the number line, so its absolute value is also 4. Absolute value is always a positive number, because it's the distance from the other number, in this case 0, no matter the direction. Here's Lucy. She needs to walk to her tuba lesson, 3 blocks from the bus stop. After walking 2 blocks, she realizes she dropped her sheet music. She goes back 1 block, finds it, then continues to her lesson. One way to represent Lucy's journey is like this, by walking 2 blocks forward, 1 block back, and 2 blocks forward. Lucy ends up 3 blocks from the stop, yet she walked.
As you can see, when they go forward, they make it a different color than when you go back, which is a negative number. So I just wanted to stop and show
More
you
than that, absolute value shows us how much she actually walked. 2 blocks forward, plus 1 block back, plus 2 blocks forward, for a total of 5 blocks. Phew! Absolute value can help us calculate distance and solve math problems.
Okay. Yeah, that was a summary of what we have covered basically in the whole lesson. So what I'm going to let you do is go and practice level 4. It's a little bit challenging, but I'm sure you will do very good. So go ahead and do it, and just go and read that problem out to me since it's very hard for me to see it.
Okay. What is the opposite of 778? It's negative 778. What is the opposite of 266? That would be negative 266.
Take your time, because you were going to say just 266 again.
Yeah. What is the opposite of 539? Negative. The answer would be negative 539. What is the opposite of 309? Negative 309. What is the opposite of negative 257? That would just be 257. What is the opposite of negative 569? That'd be 569. What is the opposite of negative 267? And that would just be 267.
Yeah, you have a tendency of going for negative, don't you?
What is the absolute value of negative 536? That would be 536. What is the absolute value of negative 377? That's 377. What is the absolute value of 715? The absolute value would be 715. Yeah.
Good job.
Do.
Okay, you got them all right. You only missed 2 out of 40, which is not bad at all. Now you got to understand that this is 6th grade. Okay.
Really?
Yeah, it is 6th grade level according to the TEKS. So you did very well. Okay, some areas that basically you master and what's opposite as absolute value. So again, as I thank you for your patience and you good work and good job. High five.
Yeah.
Thank you.